Hey folks, today we're going to get in step with Imhotep in the expansion New Dynasty. Let's check it out. To set up the game, all you're going to do is you're going to shuffle these boat cards. Now they have boat cards for 2 players, 4 players, 3 players. You're going to shuffle up these boat cards, and like I just did here, you turn over the top card and you bring out that many boats. There are of course extra boats in the game, and you'll be bringing out different ones or all of them depending on how many players you have. Now, players are going to choose what bricks they want to be. They can be the brown, the black, or the gray and the white. What they'll start with a little player mat, a small little player mat, where they will place 2 stones to start off with. They're also going to have their score track up here, where you're going to have one of your bricks there to count your score as you move around the board. And you're going to have these 4 or 5 docking places here. Now, it doesn't matter what order you stack them in. They can basically go in any order. But you have the market, the obelisk, the temple, the burial chamber, and the pyramids. Now, for the market, you're going to shuffle cards from this deck here and deal out 4. And then at the end of every round, you're going to wipe those cards, any cards that went unclaimed, and then put new cards out. So the game plays actually very simple. What you can do on your turn is one of 3 things. You can grab 3 bricks from the quarry and put them on your card there. You can see you can hold a maximum of 5. Another action you can do is you can take a brick and place it on a boat. In any boat you want to, and you can place it anywhere you want to. You don't have to place it at the front there, you can place it in the middle there or in the back, wherever you want to place it. But you place one in there. Another action a player can do is they can move a boat. Now it doesn't have to have cubes of their color, and a lot of time it may not. And so they can move a boat and dock it into one of these 5 areas just by doing that. Now, once a boat's docked there, that cube will unload and take the action that's on that area. And then no other boats can dock in that area. So how the game's going to be going is people are going to be taking turns placing their bricks on these boats and maybe getting new bricks from the quarry, but that's how they're going to be doing. And then at any time, you don't even have to wait to put all your bricks on the boat. Someone could go ahead and just ship this boat out and dock it anywhere. Now, depending on where they dock it makes a big difference. Because if you were to dock it here in the marketplace, the person in the front will get first pick of one of those 4 cards. Now these 4 cards do something different, and I put one of each color out there, but red are immediate actions you take right then and there. Basically just lets you take a cube from your quarry and place it anywhere in these other 4 areas. What green is, those are in-game scoring points. You'll get bonus points depending on the number of cubes, yours and your opponent's at the end of the game. Here is a statue. Basically, it's set collection. The more of these cards that you have, the more points you'll have at the end. And this one, the light blue ones, those are little cheats in the game. Basically, they say, hey, look, you can grab stones from the quarry and place one of them in a ship. Or you can take 2 stones from your player piece and then put them, in 2 different boats. Or let's say I didn't have that one there. Or you could put them all in the same boat. So if there was extra space and I had one of these cards that told me to, I could put 2 of them right there. So basically it just gives you like little bonus actions in the game. So what do each one of these other ones do? Well, let me kind of show you here. The obelisk, this one is whenever you place, let's say they put a boat here. Well, then you place your blocks in a tower-like structure in the colored areas provided, and what you're trying to do, these are in-game scoring points. At the end of the game, whoever has the highest obelisk is going to score X amount of points, depending if it's a 4, 3, or 2-player game, and then second, third, and fourth will score as well. Looking at the temple's really neat. The temple says in a 4-player game, there's only 4 spaces available. In a 5-player game, there's 5 spaces available. You'd use that extra space there. And what would happen at the end of every round, you would count the points for whoever's showing on top. So for instance, brown would get 3 points and black would get 1. So you would score it 1 and 1, 2, 3. Now let's say the next round looks something like this. They deliver cubes like that. Well, now black gets 2 points, as does brown, and you score them every round. And like I said, it just matters who's on top, and you stack them from left to right. So if black came in, let's say with 3 more cubes, and they wanted to go here first to cover up brown, they couldn't do that. They could only go to these 3 spaces here. So the next turn they would get 3 points and brown would get 1. Now with the burial chamber, this one gives you points on how many cubes are connected to it. Okay, so here's a good example here. What happens is I have 4 connected. So if I have 4 connected, I get 10 points at the end of the game. I can't count this one because it's not technically connected because anything diagonal is not connected. Now brown is going to have 2 connected in 2 different spots. So they're going to get 3 points each for those 2 connected. And then black, because he has this one here, he'll get 1. You're going to get some huge in-game points in the burial chamber. Now while I'm already zoomed in, let me show you how the pyramids work. What you're going to do in docking order, so let's say this is how this ship came into there and got docked in the pyramids by either player. What you're going to do is you're going to place them from top to bottom and gain those points immediately. So black would get 2 points, brown would get sadly 1 point, and the black would get 3. That's kind of why you may want to put your cubes at the back of the boat to make sure you get the most amount of points on that pyramid. Now, you build a second level on top of this, and that's the scoring points for the second level, and then place 1 brick on the top, and that'd be 4 points. Any additional bricks placed in this area would count for 1 bonus point. Now all these tiles have an A side and a B side. The B side are very simple. B side of market, the only thing that's changed is you have 2 face down cards, and like it says here, you just look at both and pick one and then discard the other. On the obelisk, the other one here is, hey, you want to build stones immediately. When 3 stones of one color are present, you'll score the highest on the track here. So if black was to score first, he'd get 10. Brown scored the next 2 times, they get 9 and 8, and so on and so forth. So scoring first in this one counts the most points, where scoring last in it, you won't get as many. The temple, the extra one for the temple, is basically the same. You're going to get 1 victory point for anything that's on top of these rows, but you can also sometimes get 2 victory points or 2 cubes if you don't want a victory point, or get a card from the market. So it just switches things up a little bit. Side B of the burial chamber is trying to get rows across, and the longest row, someone has 4 across, maybe that's the longest one, they would get 8. And then 4, 3, 2, and well, 4, 2, and 0 for that. But it's a little bit harder in the burial chamber to score points at the end of the game. And for pyramids, well, in this one they have little individual pyramids that you can build that will give you different points, or cubes, or cards, or let you load up a ship there. And then when you place that 1 cube on top of any of them, they count for 4 points, and any other additional cubes sent to the pyramids only count as 1 point. And that is the base game for Imhotep. In the new Dynasty expansion, it gives you basically new cards to put in your market. It's also going to give you these little god cards here. You would shuffle the deck for these god cards and place 3 out. And this is really cool because during the game, each player is going to have these scarabs. They're each going to get 2 scarabs of their color. And basically what you're doing is you're placing bets. So for instance, this one says, hey, the most stones in the burial chamber, that's going to be me. Well, if it's round 1 or 2, I can put my scarab here. Now, if I'm correct, I'm going to get 7 victory points in the game. If I'm wrong, I'm going to lose 3. And as you see, the risk and reward go lower the longer you wait. So rounds 3 and 4, it goes from 5 or -2. And if you're at the very end, you basically may know what's going to happen here. It could give you a +3 or a -1 if you're wrong. But you have 2 of these, and there'll be 3 of these type cards that will be out there. And so you need to know when to bet on yourself to see if you can achieve those goals and get extra points. Another thing, this game comes with several new boards as well, C and D boards here, and let me just kind of go over them real quick. They're very simple. In this one, everyone starts with these little coins here. Each player will start with 2 coins, and so when you go to the market, instead of just grabbing 1 card, you can choose. It's a one-time only, so you only got two chances to do this in the game. You place your coin in any one of these spots, and you can get both of those cards, whichever one you're wanting. That one's pretty cool. The D side of it, the market at night here, basically you're just putting 3 cards face down, picking them up, picking 1, and discarding the other 2. The obelisk, this one's really neat too. You see there's these Tetris pieces. Whenever you come over here, you're going to lay your brick down and take that particular Tetris piece from the game. Each player is also going to have their own little card here where they're going to build their obelisk, and they're just going to build it up, up, up. It can never go past this base. For instance, let me kind of show you how this works. Let's say they had this Tetris piece, and so it would go down there. I couldn't put it over here because that's leaning over the obelisk, so it goes up like that. Let's say the next Tetris piece I got was this one, and it zips in like that. Next Tetris piece I got was right here, so it goes like that. As you see, I'm not going over the corners here. Next Tetris piece has it like that. And so slowly you are building up. Now the cool thing about this game is, for every row of 3 you get, by the way, you can't have any gaps either. So something like that would not be allowed. Now at the end of the game, you're scoring 2 points for each completed row of 3 that you have leading up into the sky. And then, as you see here, there's bonus points for whoever has the most completed rows as well, depending on what type of players you have. Now, on the D side, you're basically trying to build the height of these little points. A height of 2 for 4 points, a height of 6 for 18. Any additional, once these are all built, any additional ones will count a victory point. But these are in-game scores. If you do not reach the goal there, and you can only work on one of these at a time, so you can't put one here, and one here, and say, aha, I claimed them all. You can only work on, if you played it here, you have to keep playing there until you reach that goal. Then you may try for another obelisk here. But if you do not complete it at the end of the game, those stones are worth 1 victory point each instead of the big points they would be worth if you completed the obelisk. Temple of Ra is very simple. Basically, you're putting 3 cubes at a time, stacking them up. Whoever's on top is going to get the rewards. It's going to be cubes, it's going to be points, or it's going to be, take 3 cards from the market, from the stack and pick one of them. On the next one, this one is super cool. Basically, what you're going to get are these little chariots, and you're going to be racing these people around the stadium. As you see here, they're going to start right there at the start, and if anyone doesn't place there, you see there it says -4 victory points. Yikes. So you want to keep moving. So every time you place, let's say brown placed one. Well, they placed one over here, that's 2 arrows, they'd move up 2. Well, let's say black did it, they moved up 1. Then black put another one out there. They moved up 3. 1, 2, 3. And as you see here throughout the game, you're placing your bricks and racing your little chariot around the board. And of course, at the end of the game, you're going to score that many victory points. And each round, whoever is first and second will also score a few additional victory points, as you see there. Now, how the burial chamber works now is, you see there's only 5 spots here where you're basically building a pyramid. And I can show you the instructions, give you a great example here. Basically, you're building a pyramid like so, and you're going to score that many points times the levels, maximum of 4 that you have connected. So in this case, if you see, black has 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what they did, they can't, and they're on all 5 levels, but unfortunately, as you see here, it says max 4, so you can only go to max 4 levels. So 6, it would be times 5, but unfortunately the max is 4, so 6 times 4, they would score 24 points. And basically you just do that for all of the levels of anyone who scored. Just a different way to score the burial mound. And then the next one here is really cool. What you're going to be doing is you're going to take in these little numbers here, you're shuffling them and putting 4 out randomly there, and then whichever player comes first, they can pick one of these, and that is where they're going to put their bricks. So for instance, if brown picked the 3, they would pick the 3 there. Maybe black came in and they took the 17 there. Now this is going to make it, because these numbers are randomly chosen every round, you would discard the ones that were used and then put in new ones. But this kind of makes it harder for you to get those majorities like you saw earlier. In fact, if you choose not to go here, yikes, it's a -4 points. So that's kind of cool that they added it on to that. Finally, you have the pyramid. It has a lot of cool stuff here. First off is the scaffolding. Basically, you have these scaffolding things you're going to lay down on top of the tiles here, and they're going to give you different bonus points. If you place a square on each one of them, you'll get the victory points or the cards or the cubes, whatever it is, or sometimes both. And at the end, after someone's put all 3 on there, whoever put the most on there on that row will get 3 victory points. If it's a tie, then each tie player will get 1. Then you would add another scaffolding token on top of that. So basically you're just tearing this up on top of a bunch of cubes, scaffold, scaffold, scaffold. It looks really cool, and it gives you different ways to score points, get cards, and get cubes. And then finally you have this one. This one stars Imhotep himself. Yay! He starts here in this corner here, and every time someone gets rocks from their quarry, for instance, let's say brown grabs some rocks into their quarry, they have an option. They can choose to move Imhotep if they want to. Now, the reason they would do that is because when a boat comes into here, and let's say a boat came in and black was going to get to place first here. Well, black would get 2 victory points, and brown, I would only get 1, because you have to place to the right of Imhotep wherever he is. So if black placed there, he'd get 2 points immediately. Then I would have to go to the next right, which would be 1. Well, I don't want that happening. So when I grabbed my 3 quarry, I'm going to move Imhotep 1. Well, now that means when black comes in here, he's only getting 1 point, and I'm getting 3. And if you want to move Imhotep again, you just keep moving him around the board. Now, the thing is, once all the squares are finished, he'll just sit over to the side, and any additional things you throw, bricks you throw his way, are only worth 1 victory point. And basically that's the expansion. Final thoughts, what do I think about the game? Well, full disclosure here, folks, Kosmos sent me these to review. They actually sent me an email, said, hey Matt, what games do you want to get from us? And I looked through their whole list, and I said, none. Yeah, I didn't really know about any of their games. I only have one of it, well, I have 2 now, but I only had 1 at the time, and so I didn't really know Kosmos that well. But I'd heard a lot of things about Imhotep. And I said, well, I hear about a lot of this. Let's get this one. Let's get the expansion. Send me those. And so they did. So to let you know, they sent me these for me to review. And as you know, I give honest reviews. If I don't like something, I'll tell you. This one shocked me. I had 0 interest in getting this game in. I was like, well, yeah, it took them about a month or so to get it into me. I was like, well, you know what? If they don't send it, that's fine. I'm fine. Because I didn't really, on the surface it doesn't look like much, but man, is it a great game. It is a fantastic game. When I always do a gaming night, at the end of the night I say, okay, hey guys, what was the game of the night? You know, what was the best one you enjoyed? And each time I brought this out, this has swept the awards lately. They really enjoy Imhotep because it's simple, there's several choices you can make, and there's several ways to score points, and those in-game scoring points are huge, huge. And I love how you can flip over the boards. You don't have to use all side A or all side B. You can flip it over side A, B, however you want it. So there's tons of replayability in that. The pieces look really nice. Those are big cubes and everything. I really like how it looks. Do you need to get New Dynasty? Yes. If you like this type of game, you should go ahead and get this. It's going to just add more to the game, like C and D sides. I love the chariot races. I love Imhotep. I love the coins. I like a lot of things here in the New Dynasty. I tend to play more with these cards than I do with this here, but we always switch them up, and it always leads to different strategies, different things to look over and consider. Nothing is too hard. The concepts are easy to get. I can understand why this has won so many awards because it is a fun game. So if you think it looks like a game for you, then you should definitely get it. And if you get the base game and maybe later on get New Dynasty because it is fun. This is a great game. I'm really happy I got it, so thank you to Kosmos for that. Maybe I should start checking out more of their games, right? All right, folks, that's all the time I have for now. Until next time, game on!